Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Drug Diaries, where we dive deep into the stories and experiences that shape the pharmaceutical industry. I'm your host, Kaushik Trivedi, and today we have an exceptional guest with us, a leader whose career trajectory is nothing short of inspiring. In a world where information is readily accessible and knowledge has become almost a commodity, the true scarcity lies in wisdom. And wisdom isn't something you can simply Google or extract from a conversational AI. It's earned, built over decades of experience, and refined through the challenges and triumphs of a long career. And that's precisely why we are thrilled to have Rakesh Vashisht with us today. Rakesh has spent over 30 years in the pharmaceutical industry, beginning his journey at the grassroots level and steadily climbing the ranks to hold leadership positions at companies like Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and now Boehringer Ingelheim. As the global head of customer-facing execution excellence at Boehringer Ingelheim, Rakesh plays a pivotal role in driving excellence across customer engagement initiatives. Rakesh's journey has taken him across multiple geographies and cultures, adding a rich layer of global insight to his leadership style. Today, we are incredibly fortunate to tap into the wealth of wisdom he has gathered over the decades. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Rakesh Vashisht to the show. Welcome to Drug Diaries, Rakesh.
Thank you very much, Kaushik, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and through you, talking to many other colleagues in our industry. I'm truly privileged to be here.
Thank you, Rakesh. And what a spectacular journey. I tried my best to summarize your career trajectory with my limited vocabulary, but I'm sure our listeners would love to hear more about your journey from you. So, Rakesh, to begin with, could you walk us through your career journey in the pharmaceutical industry, right from the point you started your career about 30 years ago to where we are right now?
Absolutely. I started like most of us in pharma industry do. I started as a rep in September 1992, and in last 30 years plus, I have done all the roles that you can do on the commercial side of business. I've been first line sales manager, second line sales manager, product manager, training manager, SFE manager, commercial excellence manager with four great companies, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Allergan, and for last 10 years, I've been associated with Boehringer Ingelheim. I had opportunity to work in different geographies. So started in India, then I was in Singapore as regional sales training manager, was promoted as global head of SFE, based in Belgium for 3 years with AstraZeneca, moved back to Singapore, worked in Japan, China, South Korea, and now I'm here in Germany as global head of customer facing execution excellence with Behringer. So I've lived in 7 different locations
Wow.
and had opportunity to work with 4 great multinational corporations. So that's been my journey, Kaushik. I've been fortunate to work with some of the best people, some of the best leaders in the industry, and of course on some of the life-changing brands in last 30 years. It's been really, really great journey so far.
Indeed, that's an incredibly inspiring trail of organic growth that I've seen. If you were to call out maybe one or two turning points or pivotal moments or decisions that significantly shaped your career path, what would they be?
I think the first pivotal moment in my career was first opportunity to work in Singapore as a regional sales training manager,
Hmm.
and um, it wasn't easy, but I think leaders trusted in me, and there was one quality that came naturally to me, and they liked it, um, which is putting everything into numbers and trying to measure the impact of whatever you are doing. So when I was national training manager with AstraZeneca in India, I used to look at what was called ROTI, return on training
Right.
investment. Yeah. So my leader at that time, they really liked it because oftentimes training colleagues were telling how many training days how many training programs were conducted, but they were not talking about return on training investment, whereas I did, and they liked it, and they gave me opportunity in Singapore, and that opened the global doors for me. So that was the pivotal moment in my life. And obviously, I'm grateful to people, those who put their faith in me at that time, Bhaskar Iyer and Balasundram Anand. If these people did not put their trust in me, I would not be where I am today.
That's fantastic. I had a similar start to the career as you. Uh, 25 years ago, I started my career as a medical rep with a pharmaceutical company, and it used to be Hext Marion Russell, which eventually turned into
Yeah.
Aventis and got taken over by Sanofi. And I remember I was a green kid straight out of the college and joined. I was barely 20 and started this job, and I was placed in some remote, God-forsaken places in India. And back in those days, I remember we used to have those paper-based visual aids, and we used to walk into doctor's clinic, and we used to get 30 seconds. I think the struggle for the mind space of HCPs was still a struggle, was
Yeah, it was.
is quite similar to what it is today. And we used to get 30 seconds when we were allowed to talk about five brands and just the names, leave the samples on the table, and then walk out. And from there to where we are today, how do you see the whole landscape of customer excellence evolving in the last 30 odd years?
I would say it has evolved rapidly. And not only landscape in our industry, the world as such has changed dramatically. So from paper to digital, from real to virtual, this journey has happened really, really fast. And many businesses and society as general are still adapting. I don't think we have fully adapted to the technology. But if I look at how I was interacting with my customers as a rep and how we interact with them today, so I recall as a rep, there was a customer who was stationed 300 kilometers from my headquarters. So I used to travel 300 kilometers one way, 600 kilometers in a day just to meet one customer. And I could not afford to ignore him because he was like 5% of my total business.
Wow.
Just imagine if the same thing happens today, I could have connected with him on Zoom or Google Meet or something like that. So it's in some sense, it's a lot more convenient than it was 20 years ago. But on another side, it's a lot more overwhelming. My life was much simpler. I had paper-based reporting. Okay,
Yeah.
I had paper-based detail aid. I did not have a CRM system or
Mm.
iPad. I did not have wealth of this data coming to me, and I was not required to make sense of it. I was making my own judgment based on my information from the retailers, customers, colleagues, so on and so forth. So there has been a dramatic shift in our ways of working, the way we live. I mean, we used to carry cash, but I don't know how many of us carry cash these days. We
These
use
days.
Apple Pay or Google Pay, all those things. So
Yeah.
technology has completely changed the customer engagement landscape. Today, when I think about customer landscape, my mind doesn't think face to face only. My mind is thinking omni-channel. My
Yes.
mind is thinking about what customers like, how they like to be engaged. It's not about me, it's about them. So I would say there is a massive, massive shift, and it's not over yet. With future technology, it will evolve a lot more.
Absolutely. You summarized it very well. I think today's customer facing teams are far more privileged than what people used to be back in our times. And the access to data, the access to CRM technologies, the AI enabled technologies. But even if we go 10 years back in time, when reps used to feel that CRMs are all about providing information, there's nothing we get in return. It's just about reporting, reporting, reporting. But now I think a lot has changed with new technologies such as next best action stepping in, where now the reps receive recommendations, and there are a lot of other tools that are going to come in the near future. How do you see those tools evolving and the technology evolving and helping reps in making the right decisions and uh, organizing their work more effectively?
So first of all, I believe that customer-facing roles are not as easy as they were 20 years ago. Maybe in terms of physical strain, physical efforts, they're a lot more comfortable that you can do lots of things virtually without traveling. You don't have to face the rain, heat, and snow. But amount of information that is pouring in is putting a lot of mental stress on customer facing roles. Their admin work and expectation from them are at all time high. Um, in some of the companies, I was talking to my colleagues, uh, reps or MSLs are expected to log in into up to 15 to 16 different platforms.
Wow.
Yeah, so if a single sign-on is not working in that company, they have to remember a lot of login credentials, and they have to look at the dashboards. They have to look at next best action, next best content. So information flow is a lot more. There's a lot of information overload on customer facing teams today. And that's why in one of my previous interactions with another industry colleague, I said that today the problem is of plenty.
Yes.
So we have too much coming in, and the challenge is to find those golden insights out of this plethora of information that is flowing in. So that way, it's quite challenging for them. I'm very optimistic that this challenge will be solved with new technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning. I have seen several demos of new programs, new technology. It's whether it's a co-pilot or some GPT based program. They certainly make life easier for customer facing teams. So I'm very optimistic about these technologies becoming part of daily life of customer facing roles, and they're becoming a lot more impactful without working any harder. That's what we want. We want to work smarter, not harder. We want to produce more with less. And I think that's where I expect and I hope this technology will be helping our customer facing teams. Not only customer facing teams, but also headquarters based roles.
I really like what you said about the data overload and the overload of information. For instance, there are now databases available in the market where you have millions of HCPs mapped across hundreds of attributes, like 250, 300 attributes. And in some of the places you see that Dr. John Smith follows Red Sox. What do I do with this information? And is this information relevant to my business, or does it help me tailor or customize my communication to the HCPs? And I think that's where you always champion the idea of simplicity. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, from our own personal experience, we know that we do not like to use things that require complex instruction.
yes,
Okay. Today, if we use iPhone or any other smartphone, one of the reason we use them is because they're quite easy to use. Okay. But within that same ecosystem, there are some apps that are easy to use and you use them quite often. And there are apps which are not so easy to use and you do not use them. Yeah, so we have seen rise of WhatsApp, very easy to use. My mother-in-law, who is almost 80 years old, she's a prolific WhatsApp user because it's easy to use, simple. Okay, they use Instagram because it's simple to use. Simplicity is really critical.
and that very nicely leads me to my next question. Oftentimes, we see that the field reps are so friendly with their HCPs that they switch the communication channel. They switch to WhatsApp or any other medium. And how do we ensure that those interactions are still compliant? Is there a way that that has been deployed to ensure and to monitor those sort of interactions between the reps and the HCPs?
Great question, and it's a well-known issue. Everyone appreciates this challenge. That in many countries reps are interacting outside of the CRM system, and that knowledge is not known to the company. We don't even know if that message and that interaction is compliant or not. Several companies are trying to overcome this challenge by integrating these instant messenger type of apps into the CRM system. Yeah.
Right.
And uh, I don't want to name any company, but I
Mhm.
think that's the way forward. That CRM system need to offer more than existing channels. CRM systems need to offer a lot more instant communication between customers and customer facing roles, be it commercial reps or MSL. Yeah, and what I've seen so far is very promising. So in future, I don't know, how can we minimize one-to-one personal communication between SCPs and customer-facing roles? We'll definitely put the compliance requirement. We'll definitely set the rules and expectations. But still, there is a limit to how much you can control human to human interaction, because at the end of the day they're two human beings talking to each other, and there will always be some personal relationship. Yeah, so there is a limit up to which we can track it, make it compliant, bring that information into data land or data pool, and then try to analyze how is this physician responding to our services.
Yes. I think even AI is going to play a massive role in cutting down the the duration of response back to the SCPs. For instance, back in time, SCPs used to ask for some medical information, and that query used to go to the medical affairs team, and then they used to come back with the right response to be shared with the HCPs. But now I think I'm sure there'll be tools in place where the refs can directly get the medical information in a compliant way and pass it on to the HCPs immediately, almost immediately, with uh, the adequate filters of compliance.
Absolutely, and I think it's happening already. Yeah, is it um, providing great customer experience? I would say it's providing good customer experience. There is a big gap between good and great because expectation vary from one customer to another. But I do believe that today response of medical queries is much faster. It's a lot more accurate, and there is a clear follow up. Satisfaction, yes, we can definitely improve customer satisfaction rate, but technology is already helping, and with further advancement, I think we'll reach higher level of customer satisfaction. We have come long way. I must say that our industry has come really, really long way on communication with our customers, also medical queries, but it will be even better in coming years. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big changes that we have seen over the past decade or so is that the changing behavior of HCPs. And there's this emerging cohort of HCPs who are digital native. They have a completely different way of consuming information. They they know what they're looking for and they know how to get it without having to speak to a rep, or they would just go and find out the information. And and most of the times we see that the HCPs ask for this information at the point of decision. So when they're just about to prescribe the medicine or write the prescription, they'll just go on their computer, quickly check uh, and prescribe. So how do you see that affecting the customer facing strategies to engage HCPs?
I mean, we know that there are different generations working in medical services side as well as any industry. So we have boomers, we have Gen X, Y, Z, millennials, yeah, and they
Yeah.
all have different adoption of technology. So I can give you my own example. When I'm communicating with my son and my daughter, it's
Mhm.
difficult to talk, but very easy to chat
Yes, true.
because they have grown with internet. Internet is not something that was a discovery. Like for me, it was a discovery. I recall when I first time went onto internet, it was like, wow, what a great thing it is. For them, it was like something that they saw from the time they came to this world. So same is true for group of customers. We still have boomers, those who still want to receive things on paper. Okay, as you know, Germany still has fax machines.
Yes.
Yeah, so we respect that preference. But if you look at millennials and uh, Gen Z, they are absolutely digital native. They want everything on their smartphone, be it opening a PDF document or HTML email or digital signature. They don't want to sign on paper. They want to
Yes.
use their phone. So their life is basically in their hand, in their mobile phone.
Exactly.
And that brings some challenge to our industry, um, because our industry still creates a lot of content which is suitable for non-mobile format. We are
Yes.
assuming that our customers are going to look at this content maybe on a laptop, could be Windows or
Yeah.
could be Mac. But the reality is, more and more customers are looking at this content on mobile phones. So there is a big opportunity on that side. The another challenge which I feel we are facing because of newer technology is the issue of integrating multiple data sources to create one view.
Yes.
It's a massive, massive challenge. There are multiple vendors. They approach one company like ours and they say,
Mhm.
we can do this wonderful thing. But when we want to bring everything together, it's not that easy because of
That's
their
right.
own ways of working, because of their own interest, or because of their own competitive situations. That's another thing where I think industry is struggling quite a bit. And
Hmm.
last point I want to make on this topic is the content improvement. Okay,
Right.
we have seen closed loop marketing for many, many years.
Yes.
We have seen in the CRM system where customer facing team can tap on a button. Was customer happy, unhappy, or neutral? So we get a lot of insights,
Yes.
but often we don't act on that.
True.
So it's just a piece of information then, because if it's not actionable or you don't act upon it, then it goes waste. It's a wasted opportunity. And there is a lot more information coming into the marketeers as well. So this problem of plenty is with marketeers as well, and they need to find those golden nuggets that are worth acting upon. So there are
Right.
challenges because of these digital native customers.
Right. And how does this evolving landscape and the availability of data affects the segmentation and targeting strategies and approach?
Big time, really big time. And that's the starting point of any customer journey. First, you need to understand your customers. And the whole objective of segmentation and targeting is to understand your customer and customize the customer journey. Yeah. So,
Right.
15, 20 years ago, we will look at potential and adoption of a physician. Is this customer using my product or
Hmm.
my competitor? If yes, what percentage is my product uses and what percentage is my competitor product uses, and you want to drive adoption of your brand from aware to advocate.
Yeah.
But today that's not enough. We need to know what are the belief motivators and barriers of this physician. Not only this physician, the environment she is
Hmm.
working in. 20 years ago, doctors had a lot more freedom to prescribe things based on their own personal judgment. But today, there are
Yes.
rules, regulations, reimbursement restrictions. So they have to operate in multiple constraints. So we need to understand what are the constraints this physician is working within. The next
Exactly.
thing is you're dealing with different generation. I'm going back to the same topic. How do you engage? What's the best channel mix for a Gen Y physician versus Gen X and Gen Z? That's
Yes.
another big. So you're doing segmentation on a lot more criteria than you did earlier. From my experience, I can tell you in the United States, some of industry leaders are segmenting their customers on up to 79 parameters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to create a
That's,
persona so that you can personalize the communication. You can
yes.
not only the message aspect, but what you say, how you say, when you repeat it, and when you stop it.
Yeah.
So it's progressing rapidly. It's not as basic as it used to be. Yeah.
Hmm.
Segmentation and targeting has become a lot more complex and
Complex.
a critical topic.
Right. And I'm sure a lot of the Gen AI applications will simplify this to a great extent. For instance, if a rep is going on his own, it's hard to remember all the attributes about the HCPs you're going to visit, or even keep a track of the past conversations and the request made in the previous visit, and then be able to script the call accordingly. But now I'm sure there'll be apps available where the reps can interact with the Gen AI tool and ask how should I prepare for my next call with Dr. John Smith. And the app has access to all the previous discussions. They have all the access to all the segmentation and targeting criterias, the channel affinity, and based on that, uh, it can facilitate the customer engagement and improve the effectiveness of and the quality of interactions to a great extent.
It is much better than what it used to be, and it's improving, I would say, every month. Okay, human beings are highly innovative and adaptive. So there are a group of people, those who are constantly working to solve these challenges. But when I ride along with the reps and MSLs, it's still below their expectations.
Right.
So if you are uh, an AI tool or next best action engine, and you are telling me what is obvious to me, I don't value you. You have to tell me something that's not obvious to me. Yeah. If you are telling me that, hey, there is a red on the traffic light, stop. That's obvious to me. I don't need uh, AI or next best action engine to remind me.
Exactly.
You have to tell me something that I cannot see at this point of time. And I would like to give Google Maps example there. So Google Maps shows
Hmm.
you what's happening like for next 10 kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah, and the real-time data, you will have 4 minutes delay because of heavy traffic in this area. It gives you offer. Would you like to go for a detour, which will
Yes.
be faster, but not the routine route that you follow? I think we need to go to that level where
Hmm.
these engines are not reactive or rule-based, but they are predictive. Okay, they
Yes.
are thinking for the next 5 to 10 calls, not
Hmm.
the next call. Yeah. So there is
Absolutely.
a long way to go in this whole technology that will support our customer-facing teams in improving each engagement and create exceptional customer experience. We have come a long way, but we have much
Yeah,
longer way to go.
exactly. And you've made a wonderful point about the tools such as next best action. For instance, if you look at it from a rep's perspective, if there are any recommendations that are not resonating with them, because reps tend to believe that I know my territory the best. And
Absolutely.
if there are recommendations which are not resonating with the reps, then they immediately lose these tools lose their credibility instantly. For instance, I met with Dr. John Smith uh, yesterday, and the tool tells me, "Oh, you haven't met John Smith in a while. Why don't you go and visit them?" Then you immediately lose trust in those sort of tools to be able to provide credible recommendations. That's
Yeah,
very well said.
absolutely. Absolutely. It has to be meaningful and it should be something that is not obvious to me. Don't tell me the
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah, exactly. So, coming to the next section of our episode where we talk about the advice for aspiring professionals, what skills do you believe are crucial for success in today's pharmaceutical industry? If someone's looking to build a career in customer facing excellence, what would be your advice to them?
My advice is absolutely based on my own experience
Sure.
and the people that I have worked with and I've observed them, what made them successful in this industry. And I'm fortunate enough that I work very closely with very senior leaders. So it boils down to few things. And I think the most important thing for me is passion.
Yes.
You must have that drive, that passion to make things happen. If you are lacking that passion, as they say, passion is contagious, and so is lack of it. Yeah, people
Yes.
around you would feel it that you lack that passion. Passion moves mountains. So that's the first thing. It's a
Mhm.
great industry. I've been here for more than 30 years, and I can honestly tell you with my hand on my heart, if I were to start my career all over again, I will do exactly the same. The reason being, we improve life of millions of patients around the world. During the Second World War in Europe, life expectancy, if I'm not wrong, was around 37, 38 years. Today
Mhm.
we are talking close to 80 years.
Yes.
Keeping all other things constant, what pharmaceutical industry has done, uh, healthcare industry has done is incredible. We have almost doubled the life expectancy. So I'm very proud that I work for this industry. So anyone who wants to join this industry, join only if you have passion for serving the patients, because ultimately this whole industry exists for serving patients and making their life better and help them live longer. The second thing is it's a regulated industry. So sometime you want to do things, but you would not be allowed. So don't be disheartened if your idea, which you think is $1 billion idea, is
Yes.
not accepted by your managers or by your colleagues, because in this industry, compliance, regulation, preciseness is lot more important. I mean, banking industry is another industry, I
Mhm.
think, where
Yes.
regulation and compliance is really critical. But I would say in pharma industry, it's even more critical because we are not talking money, we are talking lives of people. That's the second thing. Then obviously, uh, if you're not someone who enjoys spending time with people, inspiring people, listening to people, advising people, working with people, if your people affinity and people skills are not at the level which is much better than anyone else, this industry is probably not the right industry for
Yes.
you. Obviously, in every industry, you are expected to be a lifelong learner, having a growth mindset, because our industry, as you know, you have seen for 25 years. If we did not have growth mindset, we would not be here today. And we have seen many examples where people refuse to change with the technology or the new world, and they were left behind. So you have to have that growth mindset to change continuously. And lastly, I think uh, people might think that pharma industry, because products are patented, once product has been launched, business goes on its own. That's wrong, actually. We have to do a lot more work once the product is in the market. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of
Yes.
hard work. So be prepared to work very, very hard. Of course, you will always be working smart as well, but there is no substitute for hard work for anyone who aspire to be successful in this industry and who want to be a global leader in this industry at some point of time.
Right. That's a fantastic list. So, uh, interpersonal skills or people skills, understanding of the regulatory and compliance, uh, ability to work hard, and passion, most importantly, are the key attributes that you think one must possess in order to be successful in this industry. And apart from these four attributes, is there any attribute that you admire or respect the most in individuals that you work with?
So I'm fortunate to work with some of the best leaders in this industry, even in my current role, and I admire the humility a
Hmm.
lot. So some of our leaders who are managing a multi-billion euro business, but when you interact with them, they're so humble.
Yeah,
Okay, they're always practicing humility. And I think that's the way it should be. At the end of the day, it
that's
doesn't matter what is your title or what is your net worth, etc. We are all human beings, and humans must practice humility. So I think that's a quality that I really admire in everyone.
and are you able to name any of those colleagues or leaders that you admire the most?
I would say at Boehringer.
Yeah.
Uh, you pick any senior leader. That's a common thread, I'll repeat it. That's a common trait across our senior leadership. They're all
Yes.
very hardworking, very intelligent people, but still very humble. They practice humility.
Yes. I totally
Don't want
agree
to
with
name
you. I think
one. I mean, this is the character of our company. We are very
yes.
humble people and practice humility.
Absolutely. And that resonates with my experience of interacting with your colleagues at Boehringer. Everyone's so approachable and so humble and so nice to you. And it's just the culture of the company that speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
Rakesh, if you were to give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Take more risk. Go out of your comfort zone more frequently.
Wow, that's spot on. And what are some of the personal habits or routines that contribute to your success?
I believe one thing that contributes significantly to my success is able to simplify things, create a story, a memorable story out of that thing, and then rally people around that cause. Because as leaders, uh, you can't achieve anything without people.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one simple thing that has always helped me in having that value story, which is simple, which is relatable, which is understandable, so that people get inspired and they say, yeah, that makes sense to me. I want to do that. I want to be part of this journey. And I do believe that I do that fairly well, and it has helped me a lot.
How do you foster a culture of innovation within your organization and within your team members? How do you inspire them to think differently, think out of the box, and come up with solutions that are different and unique and that serves the purpose?
That's a great question. And as we know, innovation is often a misunderstood word. People think innovation is like a rocket science. Innovation, in my understanding, is incremental. Okay, it's not revolutionary. You do something better every day, every week. So it's kind of innovation. Doesn't have to be a completely new technology. Doesn't have to be a completely new tool or platform. Using the same thing better is also innovation for me. I believe as a manager, as a leader, you have to be more accepting of failure.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have to believe that no one wants to fail. Everyone tries their best. You have to trust ability of your people. You have to trust their intention. And even if it goes wrong, you have to uh, own it as well. You
Hmm.
cannot externalize that, hey, it was your failure. No. So if you demonstrate that we mindset and you demonstrate acceptance for failure, it's inevitable sometime. People are motivated to try newer things. The converse is also true. If you always want to micromanage things, you want to
Hmm.
play very, very, very safe. Okay, you don't want to deviate a little bit from the proven track, then you're not going to
Yes.
drive any innovation. And I'm fully aware of these traits that nothing ventured, okay, and nothing
Hmm.
explored. Yeah,
Yeah, very well said. Uh, I, I think when people are micromanaged, they tend to go into their survival modes and they just want to make sure that their work is not being criticized, and that takes away the creative mindset out of their approach and out of their working style and affects the overall performance. So I
absolutely,
totally agree with that.
absolutely. I mean, micromanagement is not leadership, to be very honest.
Absolutely. So that brings us to the end of our today's episode, Rakesh. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Drug Diaries today. Your insights into the evolving landscape of customer engagement, the role of AI and innovation in the pharmaceutical industry, and your own impressive career trajectory have been incredibly enlightening. As we've discussed, in a time where information is easily accessible, the wisdom you have shared, gleaned from the years of hands-on experience and leadership, is truly invaluable. I'm sure our listeners, especially those aspiring to make their mark in the pharmaceutical industry, will find your journey and advice immensely inspiring. Thank you for taking time to join us on Drug Diaries and for sharing your expertise. It's leaders like you who help drive the industry forward, and we are grateful for the opportunity to learn from your experiences and expertise.
Thank you very much, Kaushik. It was really nice talking to you. Some of your questions were quite thought provoking, and I started to think about things that I did not think about earlier. So it's always stimulating to interact with colleagues like yours. Together, we are all smarter than any one of us alone. So I'm always very happy to be contacted to guide someone if you have any question, if you want to use me as a sounding board. And my passion for pharmaceutical, commercial excellence, commercial operation is something that I cannot live without. Yeah. The patient centricity that we practice in our industry is also something which inspires me every day. So I'm very happy to be with you, and it was great talking to you. I look forward to staying in touch with you.
Thank you so much, Rakesh.
Bye-bye.
I hope you found this information helpful. Before we wrap up today's episode, I would like to extend a special invitation to all the innovators and trailblazers in our audience. If you are working on something truly groundbreaking, whether it's in the field of medicine, technology, AI, commercial, patient safety, product engineering, medical regulatory affairs, or any other domain, and you would like to share your work with a wider audience, we want to hear from you. Drug Diaries as an initiative is committed to shining a spotlight on the incredible work being done by visionaries like you. So if you have a story to tell, an innovation to showcase, or a breakthrough to unveil, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Simply drop me an email at drugdiariespodcast@gmail.com and let's start a conversation about how we can feature your work on an upcoming episode. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Drug Diaries. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep changing the world one breakthrough at a time.